Hey, here we are at the shop again. I've got quite a mess. Quite a mess everywhere. Still working on the 1947 Plymouth Special Deluxe. This was the Jeep that's sitting outside you see randomly in the videos. It needed a motor. Well, it had a motor. This motor was already rebuilt. Just sitting on the shelf waiting. And it seemed like a good time. A lot of the things I had that was done to the Jeep, we did to the Plymouth. The crossmember and motor mount system to mount this motor. So this crossmember here is new. Goes around, and then the motor mounts are welded to it to hold this motor, because this is not the motor that came in this Jeep. This is a 1956 Willys 2BJ, I think. 2BJ? Don't quote me. It's basically the original CJ5. Just the standard Jeep. But in these early ages when they were Willys and everything, they had weird call letters that I don't know. I'm sure Jeep guys know. Dave Elliott, I'm sure you know. I don't know. It's a 1956 Willys stock running gear. It's been lifted. Obviously, there's been some modifications to the frame, but it's just the stock axles and stock transmission from 1956. Just with a little bit newer motor. There's the front end of it. These seats are really a pain in the butt to climb in and out of, but they're super comfortable once you get in there, because they do hold you. In a vehicle like a Jeep that's jumping around and rocking back and forth, it's nice to be in a seat that actually holds onto you a little bit so you don't go flopping into each other. So that's an added project. This is happening. This runs as of today. I haven't taken any videos. This went super fast and was just a run through job. 99% of everything bolted up, so all we had to do was build the cross member and slap it in and make her run. So this is running. I'll take another video, a couple more videos of it as it goes. It's going to run. We have to tune it. We have to put the front clip on. There's still a lot more to go on this. But the video, I think, is mostly about the 1947 Plymouth. So let me get back on track here. I've got a lot done. It's ready to run soon. It's going to be a driver very soon. My driveline's done. I have a machine shop that's making me these little doodads that go from here to here. There's actually a coupler I need. It's reverse thread on each other. One way goes one, the other goes reversed. That way when you turn it one direction, it moves the wheel in or out to do alignment, because that's my steering. So that's the steering rack and pinion installed. Horrible lighting. So the rack and pinion's installed. You can see it there. I need better light. Here we go. So that's the rack and pinion down there, and it comes up like this U-joint, and the rod comes up through the header, and then into the new steering column there, into the firewall. And the new steering column is in. New steering wheel. Thank you, Mommy. New steering wheel. The steering column's in. It's chrome. So with the other steering column, I had an issue with the key, the actual ignition, on how to start it. I found this aftermarket key setup. It's just a key cylinder, but it does on, accessory, and start, so I can wire that up like normal and start the car there, right in the middle of the dashboard. And that's actually where it was before. It was right there in that spot, except for you turn the key on at the key just to on, and then you had to do a push button starter here, and you would push it to engage the starter, and once the car was running you would stop pushing it and just leave the key on. And when you wanted to stop the car, you would turn the key off, and it would turn it off like normal. Alright. So, for the most part, it's almost back to original. I like the steering wheel. It works. I welded the whole floor in. The floor was a bolt-in. So, I did 1 mile of welds all around the perimeter of the floor, up and around. I had to make this patch panel here because that was all cut out and non-existent. But I welded this. The last people that worked on it did some patch panels, this top hump, and it was horrible. So I re-welded that and railed it. Oh, Reese's. Yeah, you can tell I've been here. And welded all that in. So the whole floor is in now, solid. It used to bolt in. Had these little bolt holes. And you bolted it in because the brake master cylinder and the clutch linkage and some transmission linkages were all underneath the floor there. So in 1947 they made that panel removable, so if you had to service the car you just rolled the carpet back and you could take that panel out and get to the car. Well, now everything is modern and I don't need to access the transmission that way, so I welded that all in, which made the car much more sturdy. Just having that huge hole, you know, the structural integrity of the car is lowered, so welding that all in strengthened it quite a bit, and it'll be less drafty. This car, with the floor unbolted and the holes in the floor, this car was draftier than the NFL. You could feel the wind blowing when you drove this car. So, and I got my new gauges, just the bare vitals, so when I start the motor I know what's going on. I'm just going to mount them here underneath there. I hate to screw a hole through it, but I'm going to have to, and I'll just mount them down there so I can see what's going on. It's oil pressure, voltage, water temperature, and the one far to the right that's a little different is a tachometer. But I got the little tach on purpose because it's the same size as the other gauges. The one far to the left, the oil, I think the oil gauge on this car works. So if that's the case, that's this one over here. If this oil gauge works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that oil gauge out of there, and I'm going to take that tachometer out of that bracket, and I'll put it in there and then mount it underneath. So it won't be a big eyesore having that tack sticking out. So let's see, that's where we're at so far. Steering column, I think it looks great personally. I haven't put the levers or anything, the turn signal or tilt, but I think it works perfectly with this car. Works good with the dash. Works good. Let's see, I got my brakes in, fuel system's in. I still have to do my fuel pump, fuel regulator. I emptied the trunk out, which is a big step. That means she's going to be on the road soon. I got 3 piles here. I have this pile. This stuff all goes with the car. It's all going to be put on soon, but not right now. This pile is stuff that's never going to be touched again. And then this pile is decent used parts, some new parts that I'm not sure I'm going to use. I'm not sure I'm going to use the brake drums. They're old and rusty. I would like to get new ones, but they're almost $100 each. So those 2 rusty circles right there is basically $200. So I might just give them a shot coat of paint and stick them on. The gasket I don't need because I've already got a gasket. It's a new rear end. The tranny cooler, I think I want to get a different tranny cooler, and then that's just a random electric fan that I may use somewhere. And then this is a Flowmaster 40 series muffler. It's the other muffler from the other one I talked about a couple days ago. It's got maybe 50 miles on it, so I'll use those. They're going to be a little louder than I want for this car, but I'm just going to do kind of a makeshift exhaust system for right now, just to get her running, and then I want to do a full exhaust all the way out the back that'll sound real nice. I've done a lot with the pulley system. I've done mini, mini, mo with the water pumps and pulleys. I've tried out quite a few different pulleys and a couple different size water pumps, and finally figured out this water pump and this pulley setup, and it moves everything back even further from where I was before. When I first did this, this front pulley was still deep inside this groove here, and I figured out a whole different pulley system for, I had to change the water pump, which moved the pulley, and then I had to change the bottom pulley and change the brackets for the alternator to push everything back tighter. See, the whole pulley system now is here's the harmonic balancer, so that's as far back as you can go, is here, and I just have one pulley flat against that, and it gives me all this room. Before, the pulleys came out to about here, but they were way up here high. The bottom of this pulley was way up here and way out here. So after moving the engine back and down where I want it, now I have plenty of room for those pulleys. Plenty of room to work on everything. I can put my whole hand under there. So that's what I was shooting for, to make it. I just had to push it back. It was way too close to the radiator. Oh, speaking of radiators, I got my new 4-core aluminum radiator today for this car. I'm pretty excited about this. Any Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler people of this era, basically 65 and older, Mopar, anything, any of those people know that these cars are extremely hard to find parts for. They're virtually impossible to find parts for. And I found this radiator for $230, which is a really good price for a radiator, for an aluminum radiator, made for this car, and in Jegs. Jegs magazine had it, of all places. So, I got a new radiator, and that should keep things nice and cool. I'm still waiting on the AC system. I got some rubber grommets and stuff for the firewall. I have this rubber grommet here that I'll run my engine wires to. And then this hole here, I have a block off plug. So that'll look good in factory, complete. I made these wire looms just out of necessity. I had to keep the wires off the exhaust, obviously. So I made these wire looms out of zip ties. That's just zip ties, hold them together. And you can tighten them up and you can move the wires around and kind of mold the way they run. So it gives them a nice clean look out of the motor like that. And I left the zip ties hole on this side so you can kind of see how I did it. So I ran this zip tie here around all four of them, and I left it loose. And then what you do is you take another zip tie and you go through here, through the first wire. That's, oh, the lighting. So you just wrap this zip tie here around that zip tie, around it this way, and it separates the wire in the middle right there. And you just do one for each, and it holds the wire. Like there, I just twisted them completely around and it just holds them there. And it costs very little and they last forever. And it holds the wires nice and sturdy so that they're off the exhaust, away from everything. See? Out of the way, out of the heat, not touching metal so that they arc. See, they're not touching. And I just do that with zip ties. Very simple. Instead of buying like here, they have these type of separators. Those get expensive. And they don't always fit the bigger wires. These are 8.8 millimeter wires. They're a large spark plug wire. And those, a lot of those these little separators don't hold the bigger wire. See, these are just small stock wire here. So, anybody out there needing some cheap spark plug looms, they're cheap and I think they look fine, personally. They look, my wires run real neat. They're together. They're out of the way. I think it's a good method. So that's where we're at so far. I hope to start the car here maybe, let's see, today is Wednesday. I don't know the date. It's Wednesday before New Year's, after Christmas 2020. And I hope to have the car running by Friday. Running and driving. My drive line's done. I just have to go pick it up. And the guy from the machine shop called me yesterday and told me he has these little couplers done, but I didn't get his message until after 5, and he's off today. So tomorrow I should have the little doodad that connects all of this, so then my steering actually turns the wheels again. And that's connected to the rack, and that's connected to the new steering column, so I will have steering again. The drive line will be in, and I need a little clip that goes here, and I need a little clip that goes here also to hold the metal brake line against the rubber brake line. And after that I'll have brakes, so let's see, it will start, it will stop, and it'll move. I think we're getting there. Pretty close. I think the next couple days I'm going to spend working on the front clip. I haven't touched it at all. The front fenders, the old radiator, there's a lot of work there. A lot of cleaning, a lot of painting, just to make things clean. So we'll see. That's what we've done. So hopefully I can do a video in the next day or two, and I'll do a couple videos of the Jeep too, show you guys kind of what that's doing. It's just been pushed through. It's just a Jeep. It's the painting and the detail is not being done. Just we're getting it through. It's really nice Jeep, but I'm not spending a bunch of time doing videos on it right now. So here we are. Please like my video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please feel more than free to hit the thumbs down twice in a row. Really show me that you hated it. Please comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Talk to me. I'm in Roseville, California, so anybody local with the same car, we can connect. Yeah, please like, subscribe, show your friends. Okay. See you on the next one.